True story. I grew up thinking that Lot's wife tripped over a bunch of rocks, got turned into a pillar of salt. Now it is true in Genesis 19, Lot's wife turns into a pillar of salt. However, it's not how I remember as a kid. If you remember the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, fire, brimstone coming out of the sky, God destroying the city as he's saving Lot and his wife. And in my mind, there's a cartoon where she fell and she tripped and she looked back as she was falling and then poof, pillar of salt. Quick recap of the story. God sent some angels to talk to Abraham, telling them his plans to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because it is so unrighteous. And Abraham pleads multiple times with God to not do that, knowing that Lot was living there. And he got all the way down to, I believe, 10 people. If there were 10 righteous people living in Sodom and Gomorrah, they would not be destroyed. Turns out there wasn't even 10. The angels travel to Sodom and Gomorrah, they catch up with Lot, they talk with him and try to convince him and his family, you need to leave because this place is getting destroyed. And it gets to the point they actually have to drag him out of his house. Like he's still fumbling, taking his time, doesn't really believe it's gonna happen. They drag him out, they send him, they tell him to run across. They're supposed to run in the mountains. Lot's like, I can't survive in the mountains, can I go to the small village? And the angels say, yes, go to the small village. And they get to the small village and then God rains down destruction from the skies, destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. And then it says that Lot's wife looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt. And let's think this through, right? There's fire coming out of the sky, destroying cities across an open plain. I mean, who's not going to look back and see that? So whether you tripped over a rock and looked back, or if you just had to see what was happening at what had been your home up until this point, one way or another, you're going to look back. So why is it that she was turned into salt? How is that fair? And the answer to that is actually in the translation of the word looked back, because the word in the original Hebrew was nabat, and nabat does not mean just looked back or glanced or looked in that direction. It means you looked back nostalgically, longingly, wanting for something that you remember with fond memories. So what it means is Lot's wife, even though she was saved from the destruction that was happening to Sodom and Gomorrah, even though the angels pulled them out of the house and kicked them out of town so that they wouldn't actually get killed themselves, she still looks back with nabat. She looked back wishing for the other time, wishing for the thing that God had saved her from. And that is why she was turned into salt. And although you probably have not been saved from fire and brimstone coming out of the sky to destroy your former city in 2026, God is saving us from something. It could be from bad past relationships, it could be from addiction, it could be from self-centeredness. Whatever the thing is that God took you out of, don't look back to it. It's so easy when times get hard for us to go and wish for the thing that was before because it's familiar, and because we have some fond memories of it, and we forget the thing that God pulled us out of, not just what he pulled us out of, but what he's invited us into. The moral of our story is nabat, don't look back.